A recent string of incidents has put an annual National Hockey League tradition in the spotlight. It comes after some players declined to wear rainbow-colored jerseys this season in support of the LGBTQ plus community. Chicago is the latest franchise at the center of this controversy. The team says its players will not wear Pride Night themed jerseys for their pre-game skate tonight against the Vancouver Canucks. The Blackhawks say the decision was made to protect Russian players on the team who fear retribution from the Kremlin for violating anti-gay laws. At least 4 NHL players have boycotted Pride Night this season, Eric and Mark Stahl being the most recent before Florida's game versus Toronto on Thursday. Former Maple Leafs goalie James Reimer and Russian defensemen on the Philadelphia Flyers are also included in this list. The players cite their religious beliefs as reasons for not donning the Pride warm-up jerseys. Well, last night, Pittsburgh Penguins president and LGBTQ advocate Brian Burke spoke about the controversy on Hockey Night in Canada.
To our friends in the LGBTQ plus community, don't be discouraged. We've had a couple of minor setbacks from a tiny number of players. We've made steady and spectacular progress in this space. 32 teams will have held by the end of the season a Pride Night. So even the teams here where we had some dissenters, the team still held Pride Night. It's still important. It's a very important part of what we do at the NHL, big part of Fenway's sports group here in Pittsburgh. So don't get discouraged. We're doing a great job. And with the religious reasons, it just doesn't compute for me. I was born and raised a Catholic. I don't see any conflict between my religious beliefs and the ability to say to the LGBTQ plus community, you're welcome here. That's all Pride Night is you're welcome in our building. They're not asking you to sign any forms, not asking you to join any churches. It's about saying this community is valuable and important, and we want to honor them.
Well, these events have sparked a fierce debate over inclusivity and personal freedom in pro hockey. Bayne Pettinger is an NHL player, agent, and co-founder of Alphabet Sports Collective. And Sid Zeigler is a sports commentator and writer. He's the co-founder of Outsports.com, a leading LGBTQ online sports publication. Thank you both for joining us. Sid, I want to start with you. And I want to get your reaction, first of all, to what you've been seeing around the NHL Pride Night events.
Well, Brian Burke is right, and that many different things can be correct at the same time. There has been huge progress in the NHL. I agree with that. That all the teams are having a Pride Night. People in the front office want to embrace this. The vast majority of players have worn a Pride jersey when they've been asked. I've never asked them to. Most LGBT people haven't asked them to. The teams have asked them to. So I appreciate all that. And at the same time, hockey has an LGBT problem. The NHL is the only league in all of North America that has never had even a current or former player or coach come out publicly, ever. They're the only ones. The NFL had 16 of them, and the NHL is 0. So I appreciate that there's all this progress, and it's great, and freedom of speech and all this stuff. But hockey has a problem. And until they focus beyond just who's wearing what rainbow jerseys and really start getting at the core issues of what's going on in this sport in North America, that issue is going to persist.
Bayne, I just want to pick your brain here on what Sid said. What do you think is the core issue here of the problem in hockey as you see it?
Yeah, I think we're getting away from what the Pride Night was intended for, and then the Pride Night was really not asking players, for their beliefs or to don it or not. It was about, for one night, having, queer fans cheer on their favorite team. If they relate to the rainbow, then great. Frankly, I'm not a huge fan of Pride Nights themselves. I think they're pretty, there's no real depth to them. We can all wave a rainbow and pretend that there's nothing going on. But, with this coming to light, there is some issues still in hockey, and I see it every day. I'm currently outside a rink right now. And, it's important that we are, powerhouses in the game like Pierre LeBrun and Brian Burke are speaking up on this because, it is a problem in hockey.
It's interesting because we heard Burke there say this isn't, it wasn't an effort to try and have people sign a petition. It's literally to say you're welcome here. Bayne, a small number we know of players have refused to wear these pride-themed jerseys, citing what they say were religious grounds. What message does this send to the LGBTQ community, do you think?
Yeah, I think that, we're looking at, 95% of the players that did wear it, right? And you see, the bigs in the game, the Connor McDavids, the Sidney Crosbys, the Jamie Benns that are on board with it. So I don't really want to let the squeaky wheel get the grease, which is such a small minority of players that are choosing not to do that. But basically what it says to the community is that, you're not welcome here. And I think that's what we're getting away from with these jerseys is that, who knows with religious beliefs. Believe me, I'm not trying to convert anyone or my views. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But, like Brian said there, we're not trying to change people's minds. And it's really not about the players. It's about the community feeling safe and welcome at a game for one of 82 games that they attend a year. And a celebration that diversity and inclusion does exist in our game, because by the players not wearing that, that's pushing fans of the queer community away, frankly, and that's the exact opposite of what Pride Night's intended to do.
Sid, what do you say to people who believe that these players are being vilified, these small number of players are being vilified solely for what they choose to wear or not to wear? Does this, do you think, infringe on their freedom of expression?
No, they have the right to wear what they can within their contract, right? I mean, so they can't just say, I'm not going to wear your jersey during a game. If the club allows them to not warm up or not wear a specific jersey, they have the right to do that. And guess what? I have the right to respond to their choice. They are public figures, and I have the right to criticize them. And 95%, like Bayne said, of the players have done this. All of the teams are supporting this. And this is the issue at Outsports. I've been writing about this issue for 24 years. And what I hear over and over again is athletes think that sports and their teammates and their opponents hate them because they're gay, but they don't. When they come out, they are shocked by the support that they get. And there is overwhelming support in hockey for gay athletes. But the language that players use, the choices that a select few make, tell these players they will not be welcome. So there's a disconnect between the reality of the level of acceptance in hockey and how gay players perceive hockey. And these choices only exacerbate that problem, with 95% of the people saying we welcome you, but 5% say no, and the gay athletes, they end up focusing on that 5%. And it's hard not to when you think that one of your teammates is never going to want to speak to you again. When you think that, that's really a hard environment to come out in, even when you think most of the players will accept you.
Just really quickly, Sid, do you think this is a case where there is a line here between where religion is being used to sort of disguise bigotry, or is there something else at play here?
This whole nonsense about Russia, the NHL, the league front office has said we have no evidence of this at all, that a player wearing a rainbow on their jersey is going to somehow endanger their family or them when they go back to Russia. There's no evidence of that whatsoever. In fact, various Russian players have worn these. So these clubs like the Blackhawks claiming that, oh, well, we have to kowtow to Vladimir Putin and anti-gay laws in Russia? That's completely insane. I grew up Christian. I grew up hating myself because I was gay and because I felt that I would go to hell for eternity. I get the power of religion. I really do. But as Bayne said, wearing a rainbow jersey is not some endorsement or rejection of the Bible. It's simply saying, hey, this group of people, you're welcome here tonight. And I think the team and the leagues have clearly failed in communicating that to a certain number of players.
Well, Sid, I'm so sorry that that was your experience growing up. Bayne, I want to switch gears just a little bit here for you. Is there anything that you think that the NHL can do? We have reached out to the league and to its Players Association for comment, but we haven't heard back yet. But is there something individual teams here can do, but that we've seen them doing? But is there really a role for the NHL as a whole, as a larger organization here? What do you think about that?
Yeah, and I really agree with what Sid said there. You know, I only came out 2 years ago in the hockey world as an executive, and if I was still in the closet and saw what was going on, it would definitely push me back further. So just to hit on that, but we're Brock McGillis and myself have started a not-for-profit called Alphabet Sports Collective that continues to educate and humanize and push this in the right direction. And we eventually want to get, into teams and talk to the leagues. And obviously I deal with some high level players in the NHL that are already reaching out to say, hey, how can we educate our teammates and how can we put ourselves in your shoes? And so, we're getting there, but little things like this just flare up. And I think it's human society to let the squeaky wheel get the grease. But I'm always a glass half full and try to focus on the positive. But as Sid said, we and Berkey, we still have a lot of work to do in this. And, organizations like the one that we started with Alphabet are trying to change that and push hockey in the right direction because it hasn't had a good light in the last couple of years.
Well, I appreciate.
Can I add one quick thing?
Please go ahead, Sid.
The NHLPA is getting off scot-free on this. We're all focused on the teams in the league. Where's the Players Association? They represent the players. Where is the NHLPA on being out front on this issue? I have not seen it.
We have reached out to them. They have not responded back as of yet, in their fairness, but we will continue, of course, to talk about this. This is such an interesting story, but we will have to leave it there. I thank you both for your time. Blaine Pettinger and Sid Zeigler, thank you both for your time today.
Thanks.